of July and our rock and roll week last week. Hope everybody enjoyed that. We got a lot of questions about where those rock interviews live. They live in the Bahia Toyota Audio Vault. So if you want to hear from David Bowie or from John Bon Jovi or from Brad Delp or any of the other cool stuff that we ran last week, it's all there. It's all there permanently. And I'm editing out some more stuff. But it is summertime. The Orioles are in first place up to New York this week. We're all waiting for Ravens training camp. But the NBA has sort of dominated the landscape over the last couple of weeks with some magnificent moves and a magnificent parade in Cleveland. This guy covers all things NBA for CBS Sports. He is a first-time visitor here to WNST. I hope I pronounce his name properly. It is Anand Pandian, and you can follow his journey out on Twitter as well at ANANTH_Pandian. That's Pandian. They call him AP. Can I just call you AP? Is that cool enough?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, man, what's going on, man? Now, you're up in New York where they're never going to win in basketball, but the interesting thing of the offseason are the Warriors, right? I mean, they were the story all year long, right on up until the shots didn't fall in the last couple of minutes of the game, and obviously the parade goes to Cleveland, but it didn't last very long, that celebration in Cleveland, because everybody in Vegas is betting on the Warriors right now. This Durant thing is really a massive tectonic move in the plates of the NBA, right?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, the Warriors are the best regular season team of all time, and then they add a guy who's a former MVP, multiple-time All-Star, probably going to win a gold medal this summer with Team USA again. He's legit one of the top 3 or 4 guys in the NBA, maybe even higher. Some people might put him. So it's kind of crazy that the best regular season team of all time, that, like you just said, are minutes away from winning the second straight championship. They add such a high-quality superstar-type player in Durant.
Well, I guess in Durant and the notion that he was going to wind up in Golden State, they were in the mix, right? I mean, that name was there. But, dude, I'm in Baltimore. I spent a lot of time in D.C. Obviously, they are the local franchise here. He is the local player here. LeBron goes back to Cleveland and gets it done there. I guess the real story here is, can you win with Wall and Beal from a local perspective? Because this thing was built for Durant to come in, win for his mama, win for the homeboys, come back home, do the same thing that LeBron did, and yet it feels like it was never really under consideration by anybody except the Wizards fan base and Ted Leonsis, right?
Yeah, that is the kind of crazy thing. It seemed like maybe 2 years ago when all the KD to DC talk was starting, it seemed like, maybe that could have been a possibility. He was considering, I believe, like the Wizards, did they build like a practice facility close to his hometown or something where he's from? But yeah, I mean, with Beal and Wall, they did strike on Durant, and they didn't get too many big name free agents this summer. They got Mahinmi, who seems like they kind of overpaid for it, especially since he's going to be a backup. But you got to remember, Beal is still very young. Of course, he went through some injuries, but hopefully that's all behind him. I mean, we could have said that before about Steph Curry. Now he's top of his game. I don't know. I can't compare Beal and Steph like that yet, but I think you got to be at least optimistic with Beal. And then John Wall, each year he's been doing a little bit better, kind of refining his game. And if they're both healthy, they're one of the top backcourts in the East, definitely overall in the NBA. So it might be another kind of transitional year for the Wizards, but I think you got to be optimistic, at least because both of their stars are still young.
Well, when you say optimistic, there are teams that can win championships, and then there are teams that can't. And I find that to be the really interesting part of the NBA, where it's almost back to where baseball was when it's, the Yankees or the Red Sox are going to win, kind of, sort of, or it's going to be really hard to beat them. In the NBA, the chalk always seems to hold up. And, LeBron has his decision and wears the black hat for years and wins championships down in Miami. I guess in retrospect, you look at it and say, well, he wanted to win. And now we look at Durant and say, Durant looked at this thing not about money, not about max deals, not about saving hearts or breaking hearts or Oklahoma City. He wanted to go somewhere to feel confetti and squeeze the trophy and ball like Michael Jordan, right? And this was his best chance to win. I find it very hard to argue when a guy wants to win. And I think that, in the era of social media and, and pundits and all of that stuff, and everybody has a hot take about Durant, I find it very hard to complain about a guy that when he's given a chance to play where he wants to play, that he doesn't opt for the money as much as he opts for, I want to win. I find it very hard to argue with that for an athlete.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, too. I mean, if we break it down to, everyday citizen type jobs. If we get a promotion somewhere, we're definitely going to take it because it's a better opportunity, and that's kind of what he's doing. And like you're kind of bringing up, it seems like the pundits, everybody in the fan bases, they always value winning championships. Durant's obviously a great player.
Well, you can't be considered a truly great player unless you win, right? So you have to put yourself in a position to win.
Yeah, exactly. That's we rank championships, we rank rings. We always compare like how many rings does Jordan have, how many rings does Kobe have, type of thing. So yeah, Durant knows all that. He's a smart guy. He's very savvy, and he decided and I've been to OKC for all my career. We've been making moves, not haven't got through. They haven't got over the hump in the sense of winning a championship, but they've always been successful. Yeah, he decided, hey, I need to win. I want to win. Picked the best team he could, and he went. You got to give him credit.
And you got to give the Warriors credit for going out and making that move as well. It's going to be very, very hard to bet against them going into the offseason. Now, I know, out on the front of your Twitter, there's a picture of you playing golf with Steph Curry, and I know that happened last year. It was a big promotional thing and whatnot, but it must have been a fascinating day there. Not everybody gets to do that, right?
Yeah, that was still probably one of the highlights of the last couple of years for me. It was like a promotional thing through his. He's sponsored by Degree, and they invited a bunch of writers out to San Fran, and we kind of went to a driving range with him. And and I'm not the. Before that, I think I golfed like maybe once or twice, definitely mini golf. And so I went. So he was he's very knowledgeable about golf. So he went through each of us. All the writers that were there, and there were probably like 10 of us, and he gave us tips on how to swing and everything like that. He was very, very kind of humble and sociable in that sense. But
would you have preferred to have shot free throws with him? To be honest,
what's that?
Would you have preferred to have shot free throws with him as opposed to playing golf?
That's probably definitely more of my comfort range. But yeah, swinging a golf club is something still foreign to me. But he gave some pretty good tips, and he actually stayed and watched each person swing for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, after he gave the tips, and he gave comments and everything. It was a pretty cool experience.
They don't write books about teams that finish in second place, right? But what a season for the Warriors, and what an, I guess at the end for him, for Draymond, for all those guys that had a 3-1 lead, and it looked like, after the OKC sort of meltdown that they were coming back. I am just, and I know they must be absolutely baffled in the offseason as to how they didn't win.
Yeah, I mean, I bet you they're going to say, I bet you we're going to hear more. It's kind of like a rumor during the playoffs that Steph wasn't 100% right. He was supposed to be 80. So I bet you that's going to come back and kind of, we'll hear that again, I bet. I think, it was interesting, Bogut went down, and I personally, I think others also kind of downplayed that injury because it seemed like Festus Ezeli was kind of a solid guy, and it seemed like the Warriors figured out the Cavs in general. But then I think just Bogut not being there, setting the screens, and kind of being clogged in paint kind of hurt them as well. But I think it was also LeBron wanted it more. It seemed like he led his team, and then everybody kind of followed him. Kyrie stepped up. J.R. Smith had a big game, and when those other complementary guys around LeBron play well, it's tough to beat them.
I know a lot of teams went into the offseason with a lot of money. Boston was one of those teams thinking that they had a chance at Durant. For the offseason and where it's, the major pieces have all moved now. Obviously, the Warriors are a big winner. Obviously, OKC's a big loser. Who else is a winner here? Who's going to be an improved team next year? And dare I say, who could challenge the Warriors? I think that's part of the conundrum of the NBA is I don't think anybody can make a legitimate argument that the Warriors aren't going to win 65 games next year, right?
Right, yeah. They're probably, I don't know if they could do the 73 again, but yeah, they're definitely going to win high 60s. But, still their challenger is going to be the Cleveland. I mean, they still have LeBron. I mean, he hasn't re-signed, but he says he's going to. I don't think...
Does he always do what he says he's going to do?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's going to back out now. But yeah, still the Cavs. As far as other teams that made pretty good, free agent signings, definitely Celtics. They got Al Horford, who's kind of underrated player because he was playing in the Hawks. I think didn't get a lot of TV time.
Well, obviously Atlanta becomes a big loser with that, right?
Yeah, I think Atlanta's still going to be a playoff team. They got Dwight Howard, who people are kind of down on, but he's still a very good player, and they still have Paul Millsap, who's a very good player as well. We'll see what Dennis Schroeder could do. They traded away Jeff Teague. They're probably going to be a lower tier playoff team, especially because they're still playing the East, and the East overall, all those mediocre teams are all bulked together. But one team to which, I don't think they're going to be great at all, but I think the Brooklyn Nets actually made some pretty smart signings. I really like how they signed Jeremy Lin, even though, I don't know, he's not going to be there's no way he's going to bring back Linsanity or anything like that, but I think he's just a very solid player for them. And then from a marketing standpoint as well, the Nets were kind of seen, they traded for Garnett, Pierce, and then they tried to go for it and they couldn't really do it. And now with Lin, they at least have kind of a fresh face that people love. And so they might be kind of an underrated fun team to watch, I feel. But the Celtics, with Horford, they're gonna be the team to challenge the Cavs in the East.
Well, and then there, the two teams, obviously in Miami and Chicago, that have had great transition here. The Wade story becomes a fascinating case study. I mean, hell, one day he's signing in Chicago, the next day he's hosting, Kelly and Regis or whatever the hell it's called this week.
Yeah.
He has made his presence felt here in the summer when LeBron and Curry and Durant were the big stories. He's also a huge part of the summer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's still kind of shocking that he's not going to be playing for the Heat. Pat Riley had a press conference on this past Saturday, and he was expressing regret and saying that the summer is now over for the Heat, or it was terrible for the Heat because Wade left. And I mean, it's a franchise-altering move that he did. The Heat kind of then went out and signed kind of lower-tier guys to try and fill in. And if Bosh doesn't come back, they may not even make the playoffs, but. The Bulls are going to be an interesting team. They got definitely talent with Wade. Jimmy Butler is a very good player, one of the top players in the league. But I don't know. That's also kind of a weird roster in a sense. A lot of mismatched pieces. They'll probably be a playoff team, but they might again be one of those mediocre, middle of the road type teams.
Well, and I think so many teams had so much money to throw around, right? I mean, backup centers are getting $10 million a year. It's insane how much money the teams have, and going into it, what they can afford to buy with their money, right?
Yeah, I mean, some teams have done pretty good with it. If we're talking about centers, the Warriors got Zaza Pachulia for pretty cheap. He went for the veterans minimum deal. Supposedly turned down a big deal from the Wizards. And then the Pacers also kind of interesting. They signed Al Jefferson for pretty decent money, 3 years at $30 million, I think it was. So, he could be a solid piece off their bench, which I think is what they're going to use him for. And then the Hornets also, I mean, these are all actually kind of cheaper guys, but we're talking about guys who spent a lot. Like the Wizards, I'll bring up Mahimi again. That's still a weird signing for them because it seems like they overpaid for him, and he's just going to be coming off the bench to back up Gortat. But yeah, I mean, free agency was pretty crazy this summer. I mean, everybody's getting paid. Supposedly J.R. Smith is holding out for $15 million a year. So
and more movement than I think we predicted in the beginning, right? I don't know that anybody would have predicted that Durant was going to make the Warriors better or that Wade was going to wind up in Chicago.
Yeah, the Wade to Chicago one for sure. But yeah, everybody. It seems like this is now kind of, especially the Durant move, kind of shows that this is kind of like a players type league. Guys want to go where they see the opportunity and where they're going to get, appropriate compensation. So that seems like how the league is trending these days.
Anand Pandian covers all things NBA for CBS Sports. You can follow him out on Twitter as well, and it's spelled ANANTH_PANDIAN. Anand, really great having you on, man. I appreciate the time, and enjoy the rest of your summer. Maybe the NBA can take off for a couple of weeks here. Let football and baseball take over, huh?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Great having you on. Anand Pandian joining us here from CBS Sports. You can find me out in the Buy a Toyota Audio Vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device. Just download the TuneIn Radio app. We come in crystal clear. Also, all of the Rock interviews from last week, whether it's Daryl Hall, whether it was the Red Hot Chili Peppers, the Black Crowes, all that good stuff in the Buy a Toyota Audio Vault as well if you're in search of. Morning newspaper. It's your email inbox at 7 a.m. each and every morning. That is powered up, of course, by our friends at Planet Fitness and PlanetFitness.com. Still $10 a month to get in the best shape of your life, and that morning newspaper refreshes your coffee in the morning, brought to you by Royal Farms as well. Last but not least, breaking news. If there's anything happening on the trading deadline with the Orioles, the Ravens getting ready for training camp, all that good stuff, and of course, the Justin Tucker story on Friday, it comes to you first on the WNST Tech Service. That is all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. Dennis will be here on Thursday driving you home from 3 until 5 as well. You can always email me, nasty@WNST.net. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. Anywhere you are, we are. WNST.net, AM 1570 at WNST Towson, Baltimore. And we never stop talking Baltimore sports.